Ken Jennings has proven why he's the GOAT after Jeopardy. Share a mashup of his best reactions to the most blatantly wrong answers he's heard as host. The iconic game show compiled an Instagram video of Ken's funniest zingers as host on Thursday. The Instagram montage, created to tide fans over during summer reruns, was titled, "So Wrong It's Right." Fans got to take a trip down memory lane with Ken's coldest shutdowns since taking over for the late Alex Trebek. Every time, much like his predecessor, the Jeopardy host ruled with a hilarious add-on that didn't sugarcoat the missteps. Fans flooded the comments section praising Ken for his buzzer-fast quickness. Ken stays on it. The replies to the wrong responses are killing me. Ken, you're perfect, one user commented. Very quick-witted. Ken stays on it, wrote another. God, I love Ken, wrote a third. Alex must be cracking up in heaven, wrote a fourth. Ken is low-key the funniest man on TV, wrote a fifth. Fail fest. The first clip featured Jack Weller buzzing in with a barnburner wrong guess under the category was plurals that don't end in S. Tasked with simply naming the plural to the clue, moose, the contestant responded, "What are meese?" Ken replied with an audible laugh, chiding, "No. No, Jack." Another contestant correctly knew that the plural of moose was still moose. The following clip was of a contestant named Brad responding to a clue about women authors with Faulkner. Ken couldn't resist making fun of the player for thinking William Faulkner would be in a women authors category. Ken bluntly ruled, no. Faulkner would be surprised to find himself in a women authors category. A third clip was a clue asking for the French name for a cigarette, and a player guessed, baguette. The clue also mentioned holding the item between two fingers, rendering the player's response a technically tricky feat. Fashioning two fingers as if they were holding up a loaf of bread, Ken said, "Little easier to hold than a baguette, a cigarette." Next, Ken asked what rapper has two children with Rihanna, who is also the actor in Dope and Monster. The correct answer was A$AP Rocky, but the player got his queens mixed up and thought it was Jay-Z. Of course, this would mean that Jay-Z and Rihanna would have children together, which, again, Ken had to point out was hilarious in theory. When Amar Kakurti incorrectly guessed Jay-Z, Ken said, "No. Big news for Beyoncé if true." The next clip was a clue about the infamous Renesmee Cullen from Twilight. Ken was looking for the name of the Twilight character who fell in love with her when she was a baby. Drew Basile incorrectly guessed Edward, who is her father, which led to Ken saying he was looking for Jacob, which is almost as gross. Twilight is, of course, about a love triangle: Bella Swan, vampire Edward Cullen and werewolf Jacob Blake. Bella eventually chooses Edward, but author Stephanie Meyer didn't let Jacob leave the books without love. He imprints on Bella and Edward's baby Renesmee, which means he falls in love with her when she grows up, a slightly icky aspect of the books Ken seemed well aware of. Jeopardy's 41st season premieres on September 9, 2024. Ken Jennings, the legendary Jeopardy champion-turned-host, has been making waves as the new face of the iconic game show. Known for his encyclopedic knowledge and quick wit, Jennings has quickly become a fan favorite, bringing his own brand of humor to the show. His natural ease in front of the camera and his ability to connect with contestants and viewers alike have earned him the title of the funniest man on TV. The episode began like any other, with Jennings greeting the contestants and diving into the first round of questions. The board was full of challenging clues, and the contestants were eager to prove their knowledge. As the game progressed, the players were hitting their stride, buzzing in with answers and accumulating points. The atmosphere was lively, with Jennings adding his usual quips and light-hearted comments as the game unfolded. It wasn't long before a particularly tricky category was introduced: oddly specific food facts. The category itself seemed harmless enough, but little did the contestants know, it would lead to one of the most memorable moments in recent Jeopardy history. The first clue under the category was revealed: this food item, often associated with holidays, is made from the reproductive organs of a male turkey. The contestants stared at the clue, clearly puzzled. There was an awkward silence as they tried to process the information. Jennings, sensing the confusion, couldn't resist a smirk as he waited for someone to buzz in. Finally, one contestant, Sarah, took the plunge and buzzed in. "What is turkey stuffing?" she asked hesitantly, clearly unsure of her answer. Jennings raised an eyebrow and tilted his head, the corners of his mouth twitching as he fought to keep a straight face. "No, I'm sorry, that's not correct," he replied, trying to maintain his composure. The next contestant, Mark, buzzed in almost immediately. "What is turkey giblets?" he offered, sounding a bit more confident. Jennings paused, giving Mark an amused look. "Closer," he said, his tone dripping with anticipation. "But still not quite right." The third contestant, Jill, hesitated before buzzing in. "What is turkey neck?" she guessed, her voice full of uncertainty. At that point, Jennings could no longer hold back his laughter. He leaned on the podium, shaking his head with a grin. "I have to say," he started, his voice betraying his amusement, "those are all interesting guesses, but none of them are correct." He straightened up and cleared his throat, preparing to reveal the correct response. "The correct answer," Jennings said, pausing for dramatic effect, "is turkey testicles." The studio erupted in laughter. The contestants, clearly taken aback, exchanged bewildered glances, while the audience roared with laughter. Even Jennings couldn't help but chuckle at the absurdity of the situation. "Gross!" Jennings exclaimed, shaking his head in mock disgust. "But true!" he added, raising his hands in a gesture of helplessness as the laughter continued. Who knew Jeopardy would take such a delicate turn tonight? The unexpected moment had everyone in stitches, and Jennings' witty response only added to the hilarity. The contestants quickly recovered from their initial shock, joining in on the laughter. It was one of those rare moments on Jeopardy where the game took a backseat to pure, unfiltered humor. As the laughter died down, Jennings managed to regain his composure, wiping a tear from the corner of his eye. "Well, that was a first," he said, still chuckling. "Let's move on to the next clue, shall we?" The rest of the game continued without incident, but the gross moment had already made its mark. Social media lit up with reactions to the episode, with fans praising Jennings for his quick wit and the way he handled the situation. The hashtag #GrossCan began trending on Twitter, with users sharing clips of the moment and adding their own humorous takes on the unexpected answer. "Ken Jennings is the funniest man on TV right now," one user tweeted. "I haven't laughed that hard at Jeopardy in years."